Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Karen and I am a registered yoga teacher working with the North Little Rock Community Center. I received my teacher training and my yoga certification from Blue Yoga Nyla in North Little Rock. I'm a 200-hour level yoga teacher. I wanted to welcome everyone for joining me today for an online video series for yoga for the North Little Rock Community Center. We just had a little surprise visitor, my cat Tux. I'm filming from my home here in Sherwood. So before we get started, I wanted to introduce you to a few traditional yoga props that we use in most yoga classes. So we have a bolster here, which is very similar to a yoga pillow. We have a blanket, which is actually a throw blanket from my ottoman, and a foam block. Now, if you do not have any of these traditional yoga props in your home, that is fine. Here are some great substitutes. So over to my right side, we have a couple of textbooks and a cookbook, and we have a throw pillow from my sofa. So if you need to bring the ground a little closer to you, and if you don't have access to a block, a stack of books is a perfect substitute. For the parts of the practice where we may use a bolster, if you don't have access to this, again, that's fine. You can use a throw pillow. And for your knees, if you have sensitive or tender knees like I do, I always have a blanket handy. So I'll give you guys just a few moments to pause or hit your space bar if you're looking or watching on a computer or a laptop. Take a moment, go grab any props that you may need for your home practice, and we will get started. Hi, and welcome back. So before we get started, we're just going to come to a very easy seated pose. Just a simple cross-legged position. I'm in a half lotus. You do not have to go here. Just sit comfortably. We're going to grab the fleshy parts of our bottom and scoot them out and back. We want to sit firmly and tall on our sits bones. Spine is tall. Heart and head and chest are lifted. Shoulders are rolled back and down. Your hands can be wherever it makes you most comfortable. You can have the palms up for receptivity, or palms can be down for rooting and grounding. They can be on the mat, they can be on the knees, they can even be in your lap. Again, hands can be wherever it makes you the most comfortable. And all we're going to do is a very basic, simple breath. Breath is something that is very vital to yoga. It is what yoga is. Without the breath, it's just movement. So you can keep your eyes closed or your eyes open, or keep a soft gaze and just breathe. We'll start by taking 2 or 3 long, deep inhales, and then 2 or 3 long, deep exhales. So just breathe. As you continue to breathe, I'm going to invite each of you to start lengthening your inhales and exhales. So as you inhale, count silently to yourself, maybe to a count of 3 or 4. And then as you exhale, count silently to an exhale count of maybe 4 or 5. You want your exhale to always be 1 count longer than your inhale. Breath is so vital to the body. It is so vital to the practice. If you find yourself stressed throughout the day, and the environment that we're in currently right now is a very stressful environment. You're probably working from home. You may or may not have children with you trying to do schoolwork. It's a lot to absorb. And if you need a few moments for just yourself, all you need to do is sit and breathe. Find a quiet place in your house. If you have to, go to the bathroom, shut the door, sit on the edge of the tub, or close the toilet seat lid and just breathe. Sometimes taking just 5 minutes for yourself and breathing will help lower the heart rate naturally and help bring some stress relief to the body and bring some calm to the body. So after you finished your few rounds of breath, I'm going to give you an opportunity to switch the cross of your leg. So I've had my left leg on top, which is my dominant leg. So we're just going to switch the cross. And you might find that this feels a little unnatural, and that's fine. Everybody sits with their preferred leg on top. So as we're sitting and breathing, again, nice and tall, rearrange the fleshy parts of your bottom if you need to. And as you inhale, swoop the arms up, reach them tall. You can gaze at the hands if you care to. And exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Inhale as you sweep up, reach them tall. Exhale, hands to the heart. One more time. Inhale as you sweep up, reach them tall. Exhale, hands to the heart. And copper just made an appearance. So this time, as you sweep up, reach them tall. As you exhale, set the right hand behind the right hip, left hand to the top of the right knee or to the side of the thigh, whichever is available to you. Keep the spine tall and gaze in the direction of your right shoulder. You can use that right hand to press into the mat or to the earth, keeping your spine tall. And just breathe. This is a very simple, gentle spinal twist. As you inhale, bring the head back to center first, arms sweep up to follow. And as you exhale, left hand behind left hip, right hand to the outer left knee or thigh. Press into that left hand, keep the spine tall. And then exhale to breathe and twist deeply. Bring the head out first, sweep the arms to follow. Exhale, hands to the heart. Again, we're going to switch the cross of our legs because we're stretching our hips as you're sitting in this easy seated pose. Now, if as you're sitting here, if you find your knees to get a little bit achy, that's fine. I'm going to move my throw blanket out of the way. We can stretch our legs out in front. And if this is a better position for you, and if you find this a little tender for your knees, just roll your blanket and bring it up underneath your knees. If you don't have a throw blanket at home, bath towels are perfect, bath or beach towels. So this is just a good demonstration of a nice supported leg extension with a blanket under the knees. So I'm gonna get rid of this and go back to easy seated because we're gonna need this coming up next. So back to easy seated, my dominant left leg is on top. Deep breath in, arms sweep up. As you exhale, right hand on side of the right hip, press into the right hand, root firmly into both sits bones, reach tall with that left arm, and then we're just gonna lean towards the right. We are spinning our chest open, looking up towards the ceiling, past that left elbow. We don't wanna be slumped over here. We wanna have the chest spinning up and open. And I realize that this may not be accessible for most people. Do the very best you can. So inhale, come back to center, reach arms tall. Exhale, left hand aside from the left hip, press in, root down with the bottom, lift up with the right arm, and lean towards the left. Again, my chest is spinning open and I'm looking up towards the ceiling, up past my right elbow. And I'm breathing. Very simple breaths here. Should be no real effort here. Inhale, reach both arms tall. And then as you exhale, bring them through heart center and then place both palms on the mat or on the floor in front of you. And we're just going to tiptoe our hands out forward, coming into a seated forward fold. You are hinging at the hips, chin tucks towards the chest, spine is rounded, crown of the head is down. So you're basically gazing back towards your shins, but hopefully your eyes are closed. Arms can be outstretched, nice and long. And then slowly walk the hands back towards the body. And we're going to switch the cross of the legs one more time. So my left dominant leg is on top. We're not going to roll through that whole cycle again, but we are going to roll through the seated forward fold. So inhale as the arms sweep up. Exhale the hands through heart center. They set on the ground in front of you and tiptoe them out in front. Now, as you can probably clearly see, I'm not folding down as far because this is my tighter hip. My left hip is much looser than my right side. And slowly walk the hands back to the body and then untangle the legs, and we're going to come to cat and cow. So this is the point where I invite you to grab your blanket or your beach towel or your bath towel, and we're just going to come to hands and knees. So I've got very tender knees, very bad knees, so blanket is down. And I'm coming to a very basic tabletop position. In case you're wondering, that lump on my back is my microphone pack. So knees are directly under the hips. Hands are wide. We don't want our hands cupping, we want our hands wide. Index and thumb make an L, and then just simply open up and fold up the rest of the fingers. Super wide hands like starfish. So hands are down. So we have alignment, wrists under the elbows, under the shoulders. So nice bone stack, knees under the hips. Tops of the feet are pressing down. And I'm looking back between my knees and I cannot see my feet. So if your feet are in like this, just set them out to where you cannot see them. So my spine is long, my low belly is pulled in, the crown of the head is trending forward, and my tailbone is shooting out behind me. This is tabletop. So as I inhale, my belly is dropping, my gaze turns up, and my tailbone turns up. So basically I'm sticking my booty up towards the ceiling. And as I exhale, I round the spine, push the earth away. Think angry Halloween cat. You can see I'm arching up and puffing up through the shoulder blades. My chin is tucked to the chest. Inhale, belly drops, gaze turns up, tailbone turns up. As I exhale, round the spine and curl. Inhale, your belly drops, your gaze turns up. As you exhale, round and curl. So from here, I'm going to invite each of you just to throw in some natural and organic movements. Just kind of figure out what your body needs. If you listen to it, your body will tell you. I'm doing some figure eights, I'm doing some barrel rolls, swinging my hips from side to side, just whatever feels good. There's no formula to this. Doesn't matter what you look like. You're at home. Maybe your pets are watching. Just really get into it. Okay, and we're going to land back in our tabletop. So our right leg is setting long behind us. As you can see, my right toes are turned under, heel is over the toes. And I'm pressing out nice and firm, stretching the back of the calf, the back of the thigh, just getting a nice stretch of the back side of the leg. You can stay here, or if it feels better to you, come down onto your forearms and really press into the back side of that right leg. So we're just stretching it out and we are continuing to breathe. Never ever forget the breath. So if you came down onto your forearms, return to your hands, and we're going to lift that right leg behind us. While that leg is lifted, try to energetically rotate that pinky toe towards the mat, and that is going to close your hips. You don't want that hip cranked open. You want the hips square. You can stay here. Or if you want to take it a little bit further, you can outstretch the left arm in front. So we've got the right leg lifted, left arm is out front, palm is facing in. This is Sunbird. It is a balance challenge. And just stay here and focus and breathe. Gaze should be straight down to the mat. Take a deep breath in and bring it all back to center. So hand and knee lowers. And we'll roll through one round of cat-cow. So inhale, the belly drops, the gaze turns up. The exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin to the chest, and curl. And come back to center. So we're setting our left toes long behind you, pressing out through the calf, heel, hamstring. Come down onto your forearms. You can rock back and forth if that feels good to you. Again, there's no rules. It's your body, your practice. And I'm down on my forearms, so I'm coming back to straight arms. And I'm lifting that left leg up. Hip is closed, rotating my left pinky toe towards the mat. Again, we don't want the hip open, we want it closed. Stay here if you care to, or if you want to take the balance challenge, outstretch the right arm in front, palm is facing inward for sunbird. Remember, keep that low belly pulled in. And breathe. One more breath. And then exhale, bring it all back to the center. So we're going to come into a child's pose. This is your resting position. So bring the big toes together. Knees can be wide or they can be together, whatever is more comfortable to you. Shift the hips back towards your bottom and then melt the heart down, outstretch the arms, forehead comes down to the mat. Now if you can't get your forehead down to the mat, grab your block or a book or a pillow, but you want your forehead down on something. I can get my head down, so I'm going to set my block aside and just fold and rest into a child's pose. Child's pose is your resting position at any time. So any time throughout the practice, if you need a break, if you need a breather, come to child's pose. You can also come to tabletop. Again, this is your body, your practice. Do what your body says first, do what my voice says second. Always, safety is paramount. So what we're going to do is come back to tabletop, and we're going to set the right foot back and then the left foot back, and we are in a military style push-up plank position. My back is flat, my low belly is pulled in, my spine is long, my feet are hip distance. Deep breath in, and then as you exhale, push the hips up and back, landing in a downward facing dog. Now you might want to step the feet in a little bit, pedal it out, walk it out. You energetically want to start driving your heels towards the mat, but they may not ever get there. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and as you can see, my heels are not on the ground, and that is fine with me. You want your arms out of your shoulder heads. We don't want them crunched up towards the shoulders, but we want them long. Low belly is pulled in, your gaze is going to be back towards the knees, tailbone is high. So I'm just going to slide this out of the way, come down to your hands and knees if you need to do it at your home. And we're just going to take 3 rounds of breath of what I call walking the dog. So we're bending one knee deeply and then alternating sides. We're just stretching out the back side of the body. Down dog is a wonderful barometer of how you're feeling for the day. And at your pace, at your time, start to walk and tiptoe and step the feet forward, landing at the top side of the mat. So again, our feet are hip distance apart. And for those of you who don't know what hip distance apart is, we're going to take our fists and line them up side to side. Scooch this out of the way. So the fists are lined up side to side, and set them between the big toes or the arches of your feet. That is a good gauge of hip distance for most people. Most people think their hips are a lot wider than they are. I've seen people in class with their feet this wide. We're not counting the padding on the sides of our hips. We're counting and factoring in our hip points. And for most people, it is hip distance. So I'm coming back to the top side of the mat. My feet are hip distance apart. I'm deeply bending my knees and I'm folding forward into a forward fold. As you can see, I've got a generous bend in my knees. My head is hanging heavy. My chin is tucked towards my chest. I've taken my arms and I've clasped my elbows on opposite sides, making a little basket. You can swing from side to side, but you want the head hanging heavy. You don't want to crank that head up like this. We want it tucked down. And if you stay here long enough, maybe 10 or 15 seconds or 10 or 15 nice breath rounds, you will start to feel the weight of your body pulling you down towards the earth. And eventually, if you're not already there, you'll be able to reach the floor.
As you can see, my knees are not locked out. I have soft or deep bends. And keeping the hips right where they are, keeping the knees where they are, I'm going to bring my palms to the shins, and I'm going to elevate my back and my heart for a half lift. My spine is long. Exhale to fold. Inhale to half, gaze is down, palms on the shins. They can even be on the thighs, wherever it makes you happy, wherever it makes the most sense for you. And fold. As you inhale, deeply bend the knees, sweep the arms up, reach it tall. Gaze maybe follows the hands. Exhale, hands to the heart. So we want to build our pose from the ground up. So I'm going to build mountain pose facing the camera so you guys can see exactly what your alignment and your placement needs to be. So again, our feet are hip distance apart. Root down with the feet and the legs and then drive them out. So we're energetically trying to split our mat in half. Pelvis tips up while the tailbone tucks under. Low belly pulled in. Chest is lifted, shoulders rolled back, crown of the head tall, gaze is up. Palms can be out by your sides or they can be at heart center. We want to keep a soft bend in the knees. Remember, don't ever lock out the knees. Mountain pose, strong like a mountain. Everything is engaged. Everything is so engaged, if I came up behind you and pushed on you, you wouldn't fall forward. You would just be firm like a mountain. So I'm going to step back to the top side of the mat, come back to my mountain pose. Big inhale, arms sweep tall. Exhale, diving down, forward fold. Inhale to half lift, palms to the knees or shins. Exhale to fold. Deep bends in the knees, arms sweep up on the inhale. Exhale. Hands to the heart. 2 more times. Inhale, arms sweep tall. Exhale, forward fold, diving down. Inhale to half. Exhale to fold. Inhale sweeps you up, arms reach tall. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, the arms sweep tall. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to half. Exhale to fold. Inhale sweeps you tall, reaching way up. This time we're going to go straight back down into a forward fold. So grab your block or your books, depending on what yoga props you have near you. Secure your hands, and we're just going to lift that right leg behind us. So we are lifting that leg, that's all we're doing. We want 3 points of contact at all times. So I've got one hand down, one hand on the block, and my foot. We want to energetically rotate that hip down, that right hip down towards the mat, so the right pinky toe is trending down. Come to your balance here, feel rooted, feel stable. And then when you are ready, we're going to set those right toes really long behind us, going all the way, almost to the full back side of the mat. And we are landing in a high runner's lunge. So in our high runner's lunge, our right knee is over our left knee is over our left ankle. But from here, we're just going to lower that right knee, coming into a low runner's lunge. And we're sinking into the hips. As you can see, the left knee is over the left heel or ankle. The left knee is driving out towards the left. It's not collapsing into the center. We're sinking deep in the hips, flattening that back foot. Hands can stay down if you need to, or walk them up the shins, come up to the knee. Low runner's lunge. And then when and if you are ready, you can sweep the arms up for a low crescent lunge. You can be here, hands can be at heart center. You can have goalpost or cactus arms. You can even bring the hands to the hips. And just breathe. So inhale, sweep the arms tall. Exhale, bring them back down to the mat. And I'm tucking the right toes, lifting the right knee. And I'm going to step the right foot up to meet the left, landing in forward fold, saying hi to Copper. Inhale to half. Exhale to fold. The inhale sweeps you up, arms reach tall. Exhale, we're going right back down into our forward fold. So as you inhale, left leg lifts high behind you. We're staying with our hands down. Left pinky toe driving down towards the mat. It closes the hips. And once you feel rooted and stable, set the left toes really long behind you, landing in your high runner's lunge to start. And then we're going to lower that left knee, coming into a low runner's lunge. So our right knee is right over the right heel or ankle. It is pushing out a little bit to the right, not collapsing into the left. Hands can stay down if you need, or walk them up to the knees, and then sweep up for a low crescent lunge. Again, hands can be here, hands can be at heart center, they can be at cactus. Say hi to Tux, who's just walked into the frame. They can even be to the hips. And just breathe. Nice hip stretch, hamstring stretch, and a good quad stretch. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring them back down to the mat. We're tucking the left toes, lifting the left knee. And this time I'm going to bring my right hand to the inside of my right foot, and I'm heel toeing my right foot all the way around to the right. And I'm stepping it back, landing in that plank position. Deep breath in, and then exhale those hips up and back, landing back in our downward facing dog. You may need to step them in 1 or 2 clicks if you need to, and pedal it out. And then again, when you are ready, hello Copper, step or tiptoe your way to the top of the mat, stepping over any animals that may have landed on your yoga mat, landing in a forward fold. Inhale to half, exhale to fold. All right. I'm going to take a pause and get the cat off my back. All right, friends, we are back at the top side of our mat in our standing forward fold minus 1 cat. Inhale to half lift, palms to the knees or shins. Exhale to fold. Deep bend in the knees. Inhale as you rise up, arms sweep tall. Exhale, hands to the heart. 2 breaths here. As you inhale, arms sweep tall, reaches them up. Exhale, dive down, forward fold. Plant your hands, and we're picking up our right leg behind us. Remember that hip is closed, right pinky toe driving down towards the mat. I've got my right hand on a block for support. You have them on cookbooks or a block. And then when you are ready, right toe set all the way behind you, landing in a high runner's lunge. From here, you have an option. You can lower that back knee, coming into a low crescent lunge, or you can keep that knee lifted, rising up, coming into a high crescent lunge. So as you can see, my right heel is high over the right toes. My left knee is still over the left heel or ankle. It is driving out to the side, not collapsing in. Hips, low belly, chest, and shoulders are square to the top side of the mat. Again, hands can be wherever it makes you happy. Inhale, arms sweep tall. Exhale, hands fold down to the mat. Step the right foot to the front to meet the left, back in forward fold. Inhale to half. Exhale to fold. The inhale sweeps you up, arms reach tall. Exhale, going straight back down into a forward fold. Secure and plant your hands, lifting that left leg behind you, keeping that hip closed. Left pinky toe trending down. And then as you inhale, left toe set long behind you. Decide if you want to lower the knee or leave it lifted. And then rise when you are ready. Low or high crescent lunge.
Right knee over right heel or ankle. Hips, shoulders, chest are square. Deep breath in. And we are exhaling the hands down around the front foot. This time the right hand comes to the inside of the right foot and I'm heel toeing it around, stepping it back into a plank position. Taking a deep breath in, and then I'm lowering the knees. Big toes come together, shifting my hands back towards the knees. Knees go wide, arms go long, child's pose. And then very slowly bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, bring yourself back up, bring the knees together, walk the hands out, and we're back in our tabletop. Toes tuck under one at a time. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale the hips up and back into your downward facing dog. And then very slowly step or tiptoe your way back to the top of the mat, landing in a forward fold. Inhale to half, palms to the knees or shins. Exhale to fold. Slow inhale as you rise, arms sweep tall. Exhale, hands to the heart. So we're going to repeat that and add on one tiny little piece, and then we're going to take it down towards the mat. So inhale, arms sweep tall. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, lift your right leg behind you, hip is closed, pinky toe trending down. And then set the right toes long. Decide whether you want to leave the knee lifted or lowered. And then slowly rise when you are ready to a high crescent or low crescent lunge. Knee over the heel or ankle. Shift that right hip forward, left hip comes back. Hips, shoulders, chest are square to the top side of the mat. Hands wherever it makes you happy. This time as you inhale, the back heel is going to drop. Lost my balance. Exhale, open into a warrior two. So if you take a straight line and go from my toes to my heel and draw a straight line, it lines up with the arch of my back foot. So a good gauge to judge on how wide your feet need to be in warrior two. Bring your feet super, super wide and bring the feet parallel. Arms are outstretched to a T. You want your feet approximately underneath your wrists. And I know this seems pretty wide to a lot of people. They want to, they feel they're not very stable, but your center of gravity is much lower with your feet wider. So once you have your nice alignment here, again, wrists on top of the heels, we're going to take that left foot and then pivot it towards the front. So left toes are at 12 o'clock, left heel is at 6, knee over the heel. Arms out wide. Now we have a dog who just showed up into the frame. Hips, shoulders, chest square to the long side of the mat. Gaze out over those front fingertips. Strong warrior two. So we're hanging out in our warrior two and just breathing. If you hang out here long enough, you will start to feel it. So take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, hands windmill around. They frame the side of the front foot, coming up high on the back toes, and then we're stepping the back foot to meet the front, back in our forward fold. Inhale to half, exhale to fold. Landing back in a forward fold. Inhale to half, exhale to fold. The inhale rises you up, arms sweep tall. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, grab your support if you need it, pick up that right leg behind you. Hip is closed, pinky toe is trending down, and then set the right leg long behind you, lower it if you need to, and then rise up to a high or low crescent lunge. Right hip shifts forward, left hip shifts back. hips, shoulders, chest, square to the top. Deep breath in, and then we're dropping this back heel. Arms come open into a warrior two. So how do I know if my warrior two placement is correct? It's like the Le Mans in here with the animals running. So we're just gonna pivot both feet to parallel. Feet are wide, so legs are in a wide V. Arms are out into a T. Wrists are directly over the ankles. This is a perfect place to line up and figure out if this is where you need to be for warrior two. So once you're here, we're gonna pivot that left foot towards the front, rebend into that knee, left knee over the left heel. It's not collapsing in, but it's trending out to the side. Arms still out in a wide T. Hips, low belly, chest, and shoulders are square to the long side of your mat. Arms out, gaze out over those front left fingertips. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, windmill both hands down. They frame the front foot. We've come up high on the back toes, and we're stepping the back foot to meet the front, landing in forward fold. Inhale to half, exhale to fold. Deep bend in the knees, inhale as you rise up. Exhale, dive back down, forward fold. Last side, ladies and gentlemen, so plant your hands, grab your support if you need it, and then inhale that left leg high behind you, hip is closed, left pinky toe trending down. Deep breath in as you set that left foot long behind you. Option to lower the left knee. Rise when you are ready, low or high crescent lunge. So again, left knee over right heel or ankle, left hip shifts forward, right hip shifts back, shoulders, chest, square to the top. Deep breath in, and then we're gonna exhale into our warrior two. This time, that right knee is over the right heel or ankle. Hips, shoulders, chest, square to the left side of the mat. Gaze out over those right fingertips. Deep breath in. And then as you exhale, windmill both hands down. They frame the front foot high up on the back toes. This time, hands come down. Right hand comes to the inside of the right foot. Heel toe that right foot around. Step it back, landing in your plank. Lower the knees, big toes together, and shift the hips back, coming into a child's pose. And then slide the hands back underneath the shoulders. And then however it makes the most sense to you, we're gonna lower down onto our bottoms. So we're down on our bottoms, knees are bent, soles of the feet down on the mat. Arms are outstretched in front, clasp the palms, push the palms away. And we're gonna use this as a little bit of leverage to bring a little bit of core work in, and then slowly lower ourselves down. Back is flat, but the heart is lifted. Lowering ourselves down onto our backs, and then hugging the knees into the chest when you get there. So I'm gonna come up, because I got a microphone pack on my back. I can't come all the way down. So you are down on your backs. Knees are hugged into the chest when you get there. Just roll around on the low back, keeping those knees in tight towards you. Make little circles on the ceilings with your knees. Nice and tight. Keep the head down, keep the shoulders rooted down. And then we're gonna bring our palms to our sides in a low A position. So if you're down on your backs and your knees are in, your palms are gonna be down like so. And then when you are ready, very slowly let the knees float and drift towards the right. Keep both shoulders down. Gaze can be up towards the ceiling in the direction of your knees, or can be in the direction opposite, so you can gaze over that left shoulder. And then slowly, as you inhale, bring the knees back to the center, hug them in nice and tight. And as you exhale, the knees float towards the left. Again, gaze can be in the direction of those knees, or you can take it opposite, whatever's best for you. And then hug those knees back into the center. And then we're just going to release everything down to the mat. So we're going to be on our backs, palms at your sides, palms are facing up, legs are outstretched long. So we're laying down completely on our backs in corpse pose. It is time for Shavasana. Shavasana is why we come to yoga. It is your resting pose. It is your time to just let all that work you've done, just let it release out of the body. No more work, no more effort with the breath. Let it come back to normal. I invite you to do a body scan, seeing if there's any stress or tension you might be holding on to. Let that go. Let the tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. Let your jaw separate. And just keep your eyes closed. I invite you and I encourage you to take at least 5 minutes for Shavasana. 10 is ideal, but if all you can afford today is 5 minutes, then take it. I'm going to leave you right here and say goodbye. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining with my distractions, my furry children distractions. And now Tux is just going to lay down here in front. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for the privilege of your time today. With light and love to each one of you. Namaste. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.